Here we go. It's that time again, and we are live. Welcome, everybody. I think this is a subject where, we're trying to do stuff ultimately that people are struggling with, people find challenging. And I think that as somebody that's working with people on a daily basis, this is a subject that comes up time and time again. They're like, I just don't have time. There's the kids, there's my job, there's all these different things. Usually I work with a lot of females, usually my husband, and people just feel frustrated. So we're going to tackle this today. We're going to go straight into the content in just a second. Before we do, let us know who is here. How is everybody doing on this fine Thursday? It's a little bit drizzly now. How are you, Helen? It's ages since I've seen you. We've not had like a 2-hour strategy meeting earlier on, but apart from that, how are you?
It's been absolutely ages, hasn't it? I'm really good, thank you. I'm really looking forward to this one because I feel like you said, this is a subject that everybody struggles with. It doesn't matter who you are or what your life looks like. There just never seems to be enough hours in a day. So any strategies that we can share with people to help them to optimize and make the most of it, I think people are going to take tons of value away from this.
I agree. Let us know in the comments now. What is the thing for you personally that you find that you regularly never have enough time for? Let us know in the comments, because I think if we can get some genuine examples, that's always really useful for us, because we might be able to help you personally today. But let us know who is here and what is it, if you reflect right now, what is it that you always feel like you just never have time for? If you're happy to share, obviously. If you're not, that's fine. I can see we've got Zoe Jessica over on Instagram Live. Hey Zoe, how are you? Zoe says, hi Matt and Helen. Hello, Zoe. How is your day going? I hope it's going well. And congratulations on being our member of the month as well. I'm looking forward to doing a live with Zoe soon as well. It's going to be amazing. Have we got anyone over on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube? Speak with us. Let us know who is here. And do tell us, what is it for you? What do you struggle to find time to? What is it that's maybe a regular occurrence that you just like, I just never get around to it. I never have time. Any comments over there, Helen?
Yeah, we've got loads of people saying hi. We've got Leanne, we've got Kelly Boys, we've got Joanne Newson. So everybody's saying hello. Tiffany saying hello, Matt and Helen. Joanne is saying, I'm here a next challenging day over parents. I'm not sure I should be reading this out publicly. But yeah, she's having a challenging day. And Tiffany is saying, making time for writing is always tricky. Oh, I hear you on that one, Tiffany, 100%.
Hello, Writers Unite. Yeah, you get it. Over on Instagram, I can see, hi, Carol Whiteley. Hi, Amy Hargreaves, is it? Hi, Amy, how are you? Hey, Penny says, hey. Anything from you guys over on Instagram? What is the thing for you that you generally, regularly maybe struggle to find time to, and you're frustrated about it? You feel like enough is enough. I need to make time for these things. Let us know. Give us some ideas. I'm going to dive straight into the content. And I was thinking about this as a subject, as like I say, something that's quite common. A lot of people are struggling with. And listen, there's loads of stuff that can help you with prioritizing time. And you probably hear us speak about this stuff every single day. It's things like having, getting up a bit earlier, getting to bed a bit earlier, having a good morning routine, good evening routine, time blocking, PDS model. There's all these different things, prioritizing. But what I actually think, I'm not just going to, reel off all that stuff. Look after the basics look after you. If you want to hear us speak about that day in, day out, and be reminded of that stuff, join us at Success School. You can join us in the membership. We talk about this stuff all the time. I want to go a little bit more to the root here, a little bit deeper for people. I can see Zoe saying, I feel I don't have enough time for self-tapes to create content for my acting channel. It's the one thing I always overlook. Carol says self-care and also writing. And Penny says, let's just say I'm about to listen to this in the car. Okay, interesting. So this is the first thing in my experience and my opinion that I think anybody that feels like they consistently don't have enough time, they need to consider. What I find is people are placing almost equal importance over everything in their life right now. So I don't have time because there's this I need to do in my job. There's a partner, my children, there's social life. I need social life, but I also need to be in the gym, and I also need to, look after my fitness and my health. And I'm not saying it's like exact, but more or less, as a generalization, people are putting equal importance over every area of their life. Give me some love hearts right now. Tap those love hearts if that resonates. If you kind of feel this constant pressure that there's all these things you're juggling, these plates you're spinning, as they say. And as a result, you just constantly feel overwhelmed and you never feel like you have time to breathe. Tap those love hearts if you get that. So let me be really clear. I don't just want to talk about morning routines and, delegation and PDS model and scheduling and time blocking, all these things that I talk about regular. Those things absolutely are vital and they help. But I want us to look at this as a more wider issue. What I find for most people is they're not actually clear over what truly matters the most. And that's the first step. That's the first thing I want to encourage you to focus on. It's about having a clear vision, right? Really getting clear on what do I truly want? What do I want my life to look like? Where do I want it to be heading? The worst decisions that you can make are based on this place of what do I need right now in this moment, here and now, necessity now, today, get through today. There's some of the worst decisions you can make financially, career-wise, business-wise. If you're constantly feeling, I just have to do what I've got to do, you're not making clear, concise, logical, strategic decisions. You're just getting through. You're just on survival mode. But the thing is, how do you expect that to change? It's only going to change when you gain clarity over where do I want things to head? What is the vision? So step number one, I'm just going to give you a few simple steps that are in order that I say you work through before we talk about all this other stuff. Step number one is to start to think about what you really want. Get clarity. What is the most important thing to you? And what is that vision 12 months, 18 months, 2 years from now that you want to live? Because you get some people and it's like, actually, I really want to get married. I really want to have children. I really want to start a family. But then all they focus on is work. How's that going to happen? You get other people that I really want to earn more money. I really want to, be able to afford to buy a house or whatever. But actually, their evenings, they're doing stuff with their partner. There's date nights every other day. So I'm using kind of two extreme opposites there to make a point. But the overriding vision, where they truly want to be, is not aligned with their current priorities. Does this make sense, people? Give us some feedback in the comments. Anything you want to add to that, Helen?
Yeah, I think as well it's important to realise that at different times of your life, your priorities are going to be different and you're going to be in different seasons of your life. And sometimes if you've got a specific goal that you are working towards, like if you're wanting to start a business, that's where more of your focus is going to have to go, unfortunately, and other things are not going to get as much of your time. But that can change, and it doesn't mean that it always has to be that way. I know personally, and I'm sure with you as well, that our priorities change and shift around depending on what season we're in our life. And sometimes you can be dedicating an awful lot of time to the gym and to health and to fitness. And then when you can kind of like get to a goal and all you've got to do is maintain that, doesn't require as much of your time. So then you can then reallocate that time elsewhere and start to kind of prioritize something else. So I think that's something that's been massive for me to learn, is that like you can't necessarily do everything at once to the best of your ability. And sometimes you just have to pick, like you've just said, what's the most important right now.
This is the thing. I shared, I think it was the other week, wasn't it, when I spoke about I constantly had this fear that I couldn't take a week off years ago now. And that break, taking that week off and just saying, sod it, I'm going away for, I think it was 10 days, 14 days, something like that, was when I first discovered podcasts, was then this whole journey of what I do now came from that break. So you've got to do almost like a pattern interrupt to your life. If you're constantly busy being busy and you don't feel productive, you don't feel a sense of progress, and you don't feel you have time, you have to almost, sometimes for some of you, you just have to go, sod it, I'm taking a full break. I'm going to completely make time. And I'm going to use that to gain real clarity, real focus. You know, if you need help with that, I offer one-to-one clarity calls literally to do this, to help you wait within an hour. We'll weigh up all your different options. We'll get clarity over what the vision is. And then we'll strip it back and go, well, what is the number one priority? It's about getting much more clarity, and people are just constantly just trying to get through the day, and they're just trying to think from 1 hour to the next, and they don't know if actually what they're doing and what they're prioritizing right now is even aligned with their vision. So take some time. If you need to just take some time out and say, I'm sorry, I'm going on holiday for a week, or whatever you can do, you take a weekend, whatever, to actually prioritize figuring out what you truly want. There's a great exercise that I then do with clients. A lot of you watching this will be familiar with the 7 levels deep. Go deep on it. Like, let me think, what do I want? Why do I want it? Why do I really want it? Not just surface level answers. So the step number 1 is clarity. You need clarity, because without clarity, you're going to keep saying yes to everything. And when you say yes to everything, you feel you have time for nothing. Yeah, let me say that again. Without clarity, you say yes to everything. And when you say yes to everything, you feel you have time for nothing. Let me know in the comments, does that resonate? Are you a people pleaser? Are you a yes, sir? Are you constantly saying yes to everything because you don't truly have a really specific, clear, compelling vision of what is the number 1 priority to you? Let me know in the comments. Anything there, Helen?
Yes, so we've had quite a few comments coming in from people. So Tracy Winstanley has said she finds it difficult to plan and make time effectively for fitness and meal planning. Joe has said self-care and time to record voiceovers. Kelly has said she can't find time to get walking and meal planning. So that seems like a really common one. Like fitness and meal prep seem to be quite up there with people that they want to be doing it, but they just don't seem to be able to find the time for this.
Perfect. Let me go to step number 2, because this follows on perfectly then. Create a realistic and sustainable timeline, right? Gain clarity over what your number 1 priority is. Stop giving everything equal importance and equal value. What is the most important thing? That's number 1. Step number 2, realistic, sustainable timeline. Now, if you're not trying to go for some extreme goal within a week or within a month or 60 days, whatever, if you go for maybe a 6-month, 8-month, 12-month realistic plan, and you just want consistency over that, you can then look at those daily actions. And rather than, for example, some of you might be like, I need to go for an hour's walk every morning, and I need to get an hour in the gym 5 days a week or whatever. You might go, actually, a 15-minute walk consistently. Yeah, I can make time for that. And because I'm not going for some really drastic goal of I've got to lose loads of body fat within 2 weeks or whatever, yeah, 15 minutes a day will make a difference if I'm consistent with it. Rather than I need to go to the gym 4 or 5 times a week, can I do two sessions a week? Monday and Friday, for example. Can I make that work? Because the other thing is that the expectations are not realistic, what you're placing on yourself. And that's why you feel, oh, I haven't done it again. Well, you were trying to go to the gym every day. Maybe that's not suitable for you right now in this moment. So step number 2 now is, once you've got clarity over the compelling vision, where you want to go, what's your number 1 priority, now have a realistic timeline that, yes, excites you. When you're like, oh my gosh, yeah, in 8 months, 12 months from now, that would be amazing if I've achieved X, Y, and Z. But there's time to do it. So you're not constantly feeling like, if a week goes by and you don't go to the gym at all, it's not like, oh no, I'm just right. This week, there wasn't as much time. But you remove that pressure, and therefore you remove this feeling, because it's the feeling that's the biggest problem for people, that you never have time. Is this making sense? Anything you want to add, Helen?
Yeah, I think in terms of meal prep, what people are talking about as well, I think it's just being mindful about how you can best optimize your time with things like that as well. Like if you can batch cook, it's 1 session of cooking, but then it's your meals for several days and things like that. So it's just finding ways around these things, isn't it? Or it's finding really sort of simple things that you can prep that takes 5 minutes, because there's plenty of things out there, if you research it, that are really quick and easy that, you could do in 5 or 10 minutes.
100%. And that's something, I mean, we'll talk a bit more about things like that about the end, about the more practical things. But I think these are the overriding things that you've got to get really clear on first and foremost before those things really come into action. I just want to read out a few comments on Instagram here. Carol saying, do less better always resonates with me. Yeah, it's a big thing that I, encourage people to live by. Zoe says, for me, it is creating opportunities for healthy romantic relationships to flourish. Love that. Hey, Lorraine's here as well. She says, this has been me for the last few weeks. I was 7 days and it's not beneficial. This week, I've hit the stop button and I'm figuring out what I want. Absolutely, Lorraine. And I'm so pleased to hear that. That's what we need. Sometimes we need to hit that stop button and go, right, stop. Why do I just feel busy being busy all the time? What am I saying yes to that does not align with what I truly want? Well, I don't know what I truly want. So that's step number one. I need to get clarity on that again. I need to realign with that. Carol saying she understands that she's definitely a people pleaser. This resonates so much. Caroline is here, says, I sometimes say yes to the wrong things or have difficulty deciding which options are best. Typing Tiff says, I find work takes up a lot of my time to pursue other things. Would love to go freelance one day when finances are better. There's so much I could go into on that, Tiff, but I think what we're saying here is the generalized guidance that I think I would suggest you follow, which is really clear and specific about the goal. And then be realistic about the timeline of the goal, step 2. I think it's just that I'm growing this business and not scheduling my writing. I need to start scheduling it in again. Yeah, the reason I'm purposely not talking about scheduling is because I say it every bloody day to everyone. And I wanted to go down a different route today. But the reason I say it every day to everyone is because I believe in it so much. So yeah, scheduling, some people know it as time blocking, massively, massively changed the game for me back in 2015. Zoe says, recently I've reached a point where my teaching brings in enough money to be more selective at my customer service jobs. One will be dropped completely and the other I have dropped the hours. That's progress. I'm loving it. Now a new priority of creating a romantic relationship has taken over. Absolutely love that. Is there any over there as well, Helen?
Yes, we've had Kelly who's saying she's also struggling to find time for relationships. Somebody's interested in her, but she wonders how she could find the time for it with a 12-hour shift.
Yeah.
And then Gavin Larry has said, I think as your coach, be specific and also what season you're in. Sometimes you've got to dig deep and work like crazy, but get your goal clear.
Got to be clear. So I'm just going to recap. Step number 1 is about getting clarity over what you really want, doing things like 7 levels deep, taking a holiday, taking a weekend off, just really just cutting ties, as Lorraine put, press that stop button and gain clarity. Step number 2, now you know what you want, have a realistic, sustainable timeline. It wants to be motivating, it wants to be exciting, but it wants to be realistic so that there is room for, actually, I haven't got as much time this week to work on it, and that's okay, without this constant feeling of I never have time. And then number 3 is, once you've done those first 2 steps, prioritize step number 1. So I know what I want, I've got a realistic time frame. What's the first step towards achieving that long-term goal, that future vision? What's the first step? And this is what brings me on to, we've touched on it a little bit when I talk about seasons. Most people are trying to do everything at the same time, which is why I coach seasons. I say, what season are you in? So go back to step number 1. And, if you're struggling, like I say, you can book a call with me, things like that, if you want help with this. But let me make it really clear. If you're struggling to get clarity over what's most important, ask yourself really brutal, simple, straight to the point questions. Like, are you absolutely skinned all the bloody time? Is there constantly never enough money? Are you really unhappy at work? Are you constantly working extra hours, stressed out, feeling undervalued? Maybe career/finances, business is the first most important thing that you need to work on sorting. If you've maybe been single for a long time and you're feeling lonely and you would like to start dating again, and you feel like you're always the one that never has anybody, and that's something you want to have, maybe that's the main thing. If you're out of shape, if you've allowed yourself to get really unhealthy, really fat, maybe you need to work on that as your number 1 priority. But we need to go and get clarity. What is the most important thing? Then create a realistic strategy, a realistic plan, And then once you've got the plan, just go, what is stage 1 of that plan? And that now is my season that I'm in. I am now focused on whether it be business, career, finances, whether it be relationships, whether it be losing fat, getting fitter, getting healthier. This is the season I'm in. So now, coming back to what I was saying at the beginning, rather than everything having equal value, you go, no, my season right now is fat loss. My season right now is make more money. My season right now is go out on the dating game or get have more of a social life. Is this making sense to people? Give me some love hearts if this is making sense. Once you follow these simplistic but super important steps, you suddenly have so much more clarity over where your energy and focus should be prioritized, right? Rather than feeling that everything's important. You can have everything you want in life. This is a famous quote. You can have everything you want in life, just not at the same time. But we try and have it at the same time and then feel like we don't have any time. It's because you're trying to do everything at once. Anything over there, Helen, or anything you want to add?
I think, yeah, I mean, exactly what you just said there. You can have everything, but you just can't have it all at once. And I remember using this analogy with one of my friends, and I've said it a few times on Success School membership calls since, and it always seems to hit with people. It's like, I always refer to it as spinning plates. And it's like, it is a balancing act and it's a juggling game. And you've got to pick which plates you've got to keep spinning, essentially, and which plates don't require as much focus, don't need to be spinning quite as fast at that moment in time, and which ones you've really got to make sure don't drop. And whenever I say that, I think it gives people a really good visual of it. So I wanted to just share that again.
Great. Any comments there? I can see Zoe's put my first step. So she's going through this as we're speaking through it, which is brilliant. First step in terms of relationship is visualizing myself in a happy and healthy relationship for at least 30 seconds every day for 31 days, and then attract what I visual. That's the Rob Heisey is amazing. Yeah, so she's talking there about the work that we covered with Rob on Tuesday's call, I think it was, but ultimately it's about shifting the mindset, shifting the beliefs, and doing the inner work is step number 1. Amy says here, do you think the things we say we don't have time for is sometimes avoidance, but often it's the things we actually need most, that we just need to try harder and make it a priority to reach the goal? Yeah, 100%, Amy. I think that's really, really common. It's part of the reason why I started this by saying, take a step back, self-audit, reflect. What do you really, really, really want, and what you might find. And that's why I said the 7 levels deep exercise can be really powerful, as you go, shit, I'm following the wrong stuff. Actually, this is number 1 importance to me. This matters the most, but it's scary, or it's hard, it's difficult, it's challenging. So I've been avoiding it. And then what I've been doing is having this pressure, knowing I should be doing it, but instead looking for everything else I can do. So thank you for sharing that, Amy, because 100%, and I'm really glad that you've articulated it in that way, because I'm sure people resonate. That is a truth they need to come to terms with right now, and they need to hear right now that they are avoiding it because it's challenging, because it's going to take time, because they might not have all the answers right now. So yeah, absolutely. Any comments over there, Helen?
So Leslie said that she's learning to prioritize. She's chipped in with that, which is really great. And obviously she's a member of the Success School membership, and this is something that, like you've said, we work on all the time. It's something that we're consistently coming back to. So it's really great to see that that's actually happening for her now, and she's actually being able to put that into practice.
I love it. I just bloody love it. Leslie's an absolute legend, isn't she? Leslie the legend. There we go. We've now coined a new phrase for her. Leslie the bloody legend, because she is, and she's just, and I see such a shift in a lot of her sort of mindset and the way that she's showing up in, what is it, over a year, I think Leslie's been with us. So absolutely brilliant to see. I can see Caroline Neald saying, my first step is building a target audience. Brilliant. You see already, can see people are taking these steps and thinking through them just while listening. Straight away they're going, right, I've got clarity now. So suddenly building a target audience, we can start to break that down now. And that comes on to step 4, is now make necessary adjustments. So now we know we want to build a target audience, rather than going, I need 10 hours a day. It could be just like, what's something I could do 15, 20 minutes consistently a day to help build a target audience? That could be it. And you're going to feel a sense of momentum, a sense of progress, that you're going in the right direction, and you're going to have a bit more balance, because you've just accepted this is aligned with the bigger vision that I've taken time to recognize is important. You've given yourself a realistic time frame to get there. And then you've said, and now this is step one. This is the season I'm in. This is the priority. Everything else is secondary. So we've lost this pressure that we don't have time for everything and blah, blah, blah. And we've just gone, as long as I'm doing 15 minutes a day on that, I know I'm making progress to the thing that is most aligned with my bigger vision. Pressure gone, stress gone. And I think often we overcomplicate stuff. And my aim for this live video today is to break it down so it's simplistic, so it's not overwhelming, so it's not stressful. Remember that phrase, you can have everything in life you want, just not at the same time. So stop needing to have it all at the same time. Take it at a sustainable pace. Zoe saying, love that, Caroline. Tiff saying, definitely need to take some time to stop and reflect on the first step so I can work out what to prioritize. Let me just add an extra thing as well with that, working that out. You don't need to be 100% certain that that compelling vision is 100% right. What you need is just to have a direction that's clear. Because that's the next piece that I maybe should have touched upon earlier, actually, thinking about it, is people struggle to get clarity because, oh, but what if it's this, or should it be that, or should I be... It doesn't matter. Just pick one. Pick what feels the most right out of the options and go for it and learn through doing and evaluate every few months, every few weeks, whatever works for you. But just pick one. Stop needing perfection. We need progress, not perfection. Anything over there, Helen?
Yeah, I just want to add to that. I mean, obviously we talk a lot about like, don't be afraid of failure and that sort of stuff. And this is so true in this particular thing, because if it doesn't turn out to be right, if you're not getting the balance right, you can course correct, you can change. It doesn't matter. It's about just taking that leap and trying to figure out how you can do it and in which way. But when you say that about like, oh, you're not having to have it perfect, it resonates with me so much because you know what I'm like. Like, you know me on a personal level, but I am very much like that. Like, I've always been driven by like, I need to know that I'm making the right decision. This has to be certain. And I know that a lot of people watching will be the same. But honestly, as somebody that has had to learn to just be like, just try. It doesn't really matter if this doesn't really work out. If I'm putting too much attention there and I take a bit too much attention to it, I can sort it out. I can change the balance back. It's best to just try. Comments wise, Leslie has said, yes, I am a legend.
Hey! Love it.
And Joanne has said she needs to sit and take time, but how much to allocate considering to the season she was in and the season she wants to move into. So that's something that you're going to have to give some thought to, Joanne, and work it out.
Yeah, or just start. Like,
yeah.
I think we overcomplicate it. Like, basically, get out of your own way. Stop making excuses and saying, "Oh, but there's this and this season and this is." Just do a bit when you can.
Yeah,
do a bit when you can. I think the only thing I can see Tiff's put there. That totally resonates. I'm always needing perfection and certainty, and I think, and obviously that's what you were touching on, Helen, that you feel that way too. The only thing that you can be certain on is if you constantly think about thinking and then start overthinking and thinking some more and doing a little bit of something, but not a lot, and then quitting and starting and quitting and thinking and more thinking. The only thing you can be certain of is you're not going anywhere.
You've got to think your way out of it. That's what you're going to do.
You're not going anywhere. You're just literally walking around in circles, metaphorically, maybe physically.
Yeah.
So you just accidentally turned a printer on or something, or I don't know, maybe a country's exploded somewhere. I don't know what's down there. But I want you to, if you're in that mindset that you do struggle to be like, oh, what is the right thing for me? And I need it to be perfect. I need it certain. Recognize that nothing in life is certain and there is no perfection. I think Tony Robbins says the lowest standard you can aim to achieve and strive for is perfection. That's the lowest standard you could aim for because it does not exist.
Yeah. And the biggest lesson I've learned this year, don't try to control a world that you can't control.
It's filled with uncertainty. So if you can come to terms with that and be okay with that, you can then start making decisions. And when you make decisions, you can act on them. And when you act on them, you can learn. So important. I can see Penny saying 15 to 20 minutes of progress, not perfection. Just to be clear, no longer driving. And yeah, that's so me too. She resonates with that. Yeah, let's stop thinking, oh, I need to do an hour studying a day or an hour in the gym a day or an hour, whatever, 15 minutes a day, if that's what you've got available to you now, but you've got progress going. So let's remove this need for certainty. Let's remove this this need for perfection. I can see Carol said there, I think now I have my target audience now to try to make sure I keep their custom. Great, brilliant. I'm just seeing in the comments just people gaining clarity, which is absolutely amazing. So step 4 is now we need to adjust. Now that you know these steps, and obviously you might not all know it right now listening, but once you get to this point, once you've done those first few steps, step 4 is now it's about learning to say no to stuff. Once you know what the main vision is, what the main focus and priority is, you know the timeline to get there, and you know step 1, the season that you're in right now. This is where you need to say no to the things that don't align as much as possible, as best as possible. I'm not trying to teach and preach this idealistic life. None of us lives an idealistic life, but as best as you can, based on being truthful, being honest, as best as you can, based on what you can control, say no to shit. In a nice way. Like you said earlier, communication is key. There's a way of saying it, but remove this need to please people, because if you try to please everybody, you'll please nobody. Why? Because you won't be pleasing yourself. And when you're not happy, when you're not fulfilled, when you're not feeling the best version of yourself, there's going to be a consequence to that in how you show up, in how you speak to people. You might be more, I don't know, short-tempered. You might be more frustrated, whatever. You might end up having a breakdown. Like, this constant need to please people in the end only leads to pleasing nobody. So be strict on this with your own personal standards. Stop saying yes to loads of stuff that doesn't align with your priorities, with your vision, with your goals. Now, that's not saying just be a complete and utter selfish arsehole. Let me be clear, like, there's nuance to what I'm saying. I'm saying as an overriding picture, if you're filling your diary and a high % of it doing stuff just to keep everybody else happy, there is always a trade-off. There is always a consequence. So don't think you're doing the right thing, keeping everyone else happy, putting everyone else first. There is a very real consequence by doing that. So now at this point, once you've gained clarity, now you start cutting things out. Now you start saying, sorry, I can't commit to that anymore. This will be my last week, or whatever. I can see we got Leslie over on Instagram saying, I'm realizing how much I have learned from Success School and how my mindset is shifting. Carol saying thank you to Caroline, and Caroline Neal is saying, thinking of it as a 15 minutes a day makes it so much more manageable. And that is it. That's what we're talking about. Remember this idea of the thing that will cause you distress in your life is when your expectations are unrealistic. If you constantly have this expectation that you're only winning and being successful if you're doing things that are unrealistic, you're constantly going to be fed up. You're constantly going to feel you don't have enough time. Change the expectation. Stop saying you need an hour a day, 2 hours a day, 3 hours a day. 15 minutes is better than nothing. Consistently progress. Anything over there, Helen?
So Tracy Leslie has said perfection does not exist, and she's absolutely right. And Tracy has said, hang on, I've lost my comments.
Which Tracy?
Tracy Winstanley, she said she's chasing the tail all the time. I think a lot of people feel like that. We've just had another comment as well that's coming from YouTube, saying, it's from Peony P, saying, I'm absolutely clueless on what I should/want to do or how to do it.
So I would challenge that, because you've got to be careful of the language you use. I'm gonna challenge that to say, I bet you're not absolutely clueless. Mm-hmm. So remember, you will always act in alignment with what you believe to be true. If you believe you're clueless, you're going to continue to act like you're clueless. But, and I know, excuse this being quite an extreme example, but to make a point, I know that if I held a gun to your head and said you have to pick something that you just think might be something you would want to do or could do or should do, if you just had to, you don't have to be 100%, but just something that could be good, and I'm holding a gun to your head and I'm pulling the trigger unless you come up with something, I'm willing to bet you could come up with something. So you're not clueless. But if you convince yourself you're clueless, you'll be clueless because you'll act in alignment with what you believe to be true. So I think that's the first thing. Recognizing that we create these distortions, these generalizations as if they're true and they're not. So come back to truth. You're not clueless. You maybe just need some guidance, some support, maybe just need some time, maybe need to speak to different people, have different conversations, try things. And out of that, you're going to get to the root of actually, I think this is what it's been. This is what I should be doing. So I think approach it with an open mind and not this belief that I am clueless. I don't know what I want to do. I don't know what I should do. So and get help. You see there, okay, sir, your point is very well made. That's just the start. And I would really say, speak to people, get help. Like I said earlier, if anybody wants to book a call with me, I do clarity sessions, one-off calls, where I do exercises with clients to help you explore different ideas. But we all have a talent, every one of us. We all have passions. We all have experiences. We all have information. Our brain distorts, generalizes, deletes information. So what it's about is digging deep and recognizing what are our passions, what do we enjoy, what are the things we're knowledgeable about, and then from that we then start to look at, well, okay, let's start to think, what are ways to make money, or what are ways, it depends, obviously it's going to be different for each person, but what are the ways that I can do this in real life, in whether it be through your career, starting a business or a side hustle, or whatever it may be. But I think coming back to the earlier point is important, referring to this YouTube comment here with Peony P, which is about remove this need to have 100% certain that is the right thing. I know that that's the thing that's going to make me happy and fulfilled. You don't need 100% certainty. You just need to, based on the options, opportunities that you can think of, just pick one and give it a go and learn through experience, not through thinking about thinking and overthinking. It's a fundamental problem I see time and time again. We have this big fear of getting it wrong, whereas I see getting it wrong as the quickest way to start getting it right. Right? The sooner I get it wrong, the sooner I go, oh, it's not that. Let's try this instead. Oh, that was wrong. It's not that. Let's try this. The sooner I'm ticking stuff off of going, no, I'm one step every time closer to going, yeah, it's this. And even if you just look at how I've branded myself as a coach, Success School podcast used to be called Rich in Success. I host it alone. I used to host it with my cousin. Like, even if you just take this one business that I do and this whole project with Success School, it's evolved many, many times. If I was still waiting to start because I needed it to be this version before I started, look at all the amazing experiences, people I've helped, harsh lessons I've learned along the way. So needing to start at this point where I know it's Success School, I know it's a podcast, I know it's a membership, I know we do courses, I do one-to-one coaching, needing all that mapped out before I started would mean the last 5 years wouldn't have happened. Because I'm only here now because of learning through doing and going, actually, I don't like Rich in Success anymore. I want to change that title, and so on. Anything else over there, Helen?
No, there's no more comments on Facebook, but I think just to add to what you were talking about there as well, a lot of that comes in from limiting beliefs as well, doesn't it? Where I think very often people do have an idea of what they would love to do. They just don't believe that somebody like them could ever do it.
And that's about doing the self-work. That's about really looking at beliefs. And again, whether that be working with a coach, counselor, therapist, whatever, it's about getting help to really look within. And we've all got behavioral patterns. We've all got beliefs that have been created over time. And for most of us, a lot of the time, those beliefs, those patterns of behavior don't serve us. So it's about the awareness to recognize what those patterns are. And then it's about doing the work to start to shift and change those patterns. I can see Zoe on Instagram has said, when I start a task that I don't really want to do / don't feel like doing, but no, I must do, once I start and get over the barrier, there is no stopping me. Yeah. So this is a bit of a sidestep into talking about procrastination. And I'll just, briefly share about that. But procrastination generally is stress avoidance. And what we see is, I've got this task to do. And the brain goes, that's extra stress in an already stressful life. No, let's not do it. And as a bit of a trick, if you can just tell yourself, I'm only going to do 5 minutes, that's it. What we found and what studies show is actually it is just the getting started that's the problem. If you can do 5-10 minutes, you'll usually feel different. You'll usually create momentum. And a lot of the time, you might do half an hour, you might do an hour, and then you feel a sense of pride. So if you're constantly feeling overwhelmed about starting stuff and you're procrastinating on stuff, just make a deal with yourself. I'm just going to do 5 minutes of that task, 5 minutes of writing that email, and sending that email, 5 minutes of doing that blog or creating that content, whatever that thing is. Just commit to 5 minutes and start doing that. Before you know it, it might have been 25 minutes, Do you work with older people? How do I book one-to-one? How do people get in touch with me on YouTube?
I'm not sure that you can actually send like a private message or anything on YouTube. I'm not entirely sure about that, to be honest, because I don't think you have an inbox or anything like that. But maybe give them your email address and then they can an email over.
That's what I'm thinking. So if you want to send me an email, successschoolgroup.co.uk, matt@successschoolgroup.co.uk, just to make sure it's right. Drop me an email, because obviously I can then actually respond to you, and we can get you booked in if that's something you want, or, we can chat about it, or just find us on Instagram @MattHallOfficial, @MattHallOfficial, and drop me a DM there, and I can send you a voice note. We can have a chat, see what you're looking for. I do one-off calls for an hour, or we can do a 4-week coaching package where you have a call every single week. But there's no obligation. I just want to be clear. I'm not one of those coaches that has this sales script that's written out that deals with objections and forces you to take out a credit card and be like, you've inquired now, you must book. I'm here. I'm busy. If you want my help, if it feels aligned, if it feels right, if it's affordable, then we'll work together. And if it doesn't, then that's absolutely fine as well. And I want to say that to anybody that's interested in working with me. I can see Leslie saying I'm 62, if that qualifies as an older person. So Leslie is somebody that works with us and that is in our Success School community that I've been coaching. So Leslie says 62, and I've had, sorry, I didn't even answer that. I've worked with people of all ages, literally all different ages. Most of my clients, I've been coaching well over 5 years now, and I remember first starting out, and I was like, most of my clients are like double my age and 20 years older than me. So yeah, all ages, absolutely. Anything over there, Helen?
Yeah, we've had a cracking comment coming from Tracy Winstanley. She said she finds it extremely difficult when a partner has different goals / beliefs in comparison to mine. Oh, I hear you.
You want to share anything on that?
Yeah, so I have been in exactly that situation, and I think it's just learning that you don't have to be the same. Do you know what I mean? And that actually, that's probably exactly why your relationship works, in all honesty. Like me and Matt were even talking before when we were working together on something, and he was like, you love this, don't you? I don't like this kind of stuff. But then the stuff that he likes doing, that's not where my strengths are, but that's why we work well together, in the same way that in my relationship, myself and my partner are very different, and I'm very into like coaching and learning from these sorts of things, and my goals are all sort of like one way, and he is the complete opposite. He's quite introverted. He he's like, I don't need any help with anything, like I can do it all on my own. And I'm like, well, good for you, but I can't. Do you know what I mean? So each to their own, isn't it? And I think as long as communication is key, I think, and getting that across, that like, you respect their opinions, you respect their way of doing things, but in turn, you expect them to respect your way of doing things and your decisions and the way you want to move forward. And I think also it's just about standing firm in your own sort of value as well, to be honest, and thinking, I deserve this and my goals are just as important. Maybe they're different. Maybe, I'm investing in myself in different ways, and maybe I'm spending money on coaching where they spend money on golf. But it's all equal. It's whatever makes you happy, and we are individuals. And as much as a partnership is great and it's amazing, you are your own person as well.
I literally could. Can everybody give Helen a round of applause? I literally could not have said that any better. You're
experience.
You're on the money, and there's a phrase: trade your expectations for appreciation. And I think that's a phrase that can really serve you in that situation, rather than expecting them to, have the same goals and have the same way of doing stuff and expecting them to support you and agree with you about everything. Why not shift that to, what are the things you appreciate about the relationship? What are the good things about you two together? What are the good things about that person? What are the things you admire? And how can you appreciate what they're doing and see it, and have empathy and understanding for what's important to them as well? And rather than this expectation of they need to, what you can do is shift and just serve that person better, appreciate them better, listen to them better, be there for them better, and actually look for where are the places that I can get that other stuff from that I don't. I mean, I spoke to relationship expert Paul C. Brunson. He's the guy who is one of the relationship experts on Married at First Sight and Celebs Go Dating and all these TV shows. And he said one of the biggest reasons relationships fail now is people are wanting everything from one person. And that isn't what it used to be, but they want it to be their best friend. They want it to be sexual compatibility. They want it to be their biggest supporter. They want it to be their career, guide. They want everything from that person. But actually, we're tribal. We can get different things from different person. We don't need to get everything from one person, and putting that expectation on that relationship, it can lead you to, be disappointed, and then a breakdown in communication and so on. So I think that's a big one. I can also see Carol has said, just coming back to the Peony P's comments, Carol I've been working with since I think October last year on a one-to-one basis. She's doing rolling kind of 4-week coaching packages. She says I'm 60 and I work with Matt. So there we go. So we've got Leslie at 60. What was it? 61? I think Leslie is. And Carol at 60. So yeah, literally it's nothing to do with age. It's just to do with, do you believe in what I do? Do you want to work with me? Do you want to help? Are you coachable? Are you open to put in the work? Doesn't really matter about age. And Typing Tiff says, I love that. Trade expectations for appreciation, which I think is a massive one. So just going to recap before we finish. So remember what I said, there's many things. And I think when I was thinking about this topic, you can all go on ChatGPT or Google and just say like tips on how to manage your time better. And you can ask for 50 of them and ChatGPT will give you 50 of them. And it'll talk about better time management strategies, time blocking, morning routines, getting to bed earlier, all this kind of stuff, delegation. But ultimately, I wanted to take a different approach. It's not to say I don't agree with all that. It's stuff I teach all the time. But I wanted you to start on what we call the macro, rather than the micro fixes, the small fixes here and now. Go bigger and go, actually, I need to just stop, pause and go, what do I really want? What's the vision for the future? Where do I want to go? What is most important to me? And we need to take the time to figure that out. Otherwise, you're just always going to be busy being busy and feeling like you never have time. So you need to press that stop button sometimes. Step number 1, get clarity on what you really want. If you need to book a call with me, I do clarity calls, things like that. There's exercises like 7 levels deep that I highly recommend so that you go below surface level thinking and go to the root. Step number 2, once you know what you want, then you want to create a realistic, sustainable, exciting timeline. So that's finding that nice balance between, it doesn't feel so far in the future that it's not exciting because it's like another lifetime, but equally it's not so quick that, oh my God, it's not realistic or sustainable. So that's part number 2. Once you've created a timeline, step number 3, figure out what's the first step, and that's your first season. What is the first thing you need to focus on? If you can stick to that for 4 weeks, 6 weeks, however long that season, quote unquote, is, you're going to feel progress. And then you can go to step number 2. Step number 4 is now make adjustments to make more time. Say no to people where you need to say no. Cut things out, stop going to a class on a Tuesday or whatever that thing is that is now not aligned with this current season. Remember, you can have everything you want in life, just not at the same time. So make sure your actions are aligned with what season you are in. And then the fifth step, the final step, this is bringing it on to some of those more smaller stuff. Now we've done the bigger work, which is really start a little diary now and have that bit of self-awareness where you input your diary, you know, each evening, each morning, whatever, and you reflect on the last 24 hours or so and go, where was I scrolling on my phone mindlessly? You know, where are those time wasting activities where before I know it, 30 minutes has gone, 45 minutes has gone, an hour's gone. Start to become more aware of these small adjustments, these small shifts you can make that do absolutely add up over a week, over a month, over 6 months. And there you will find, and we all are guilty of this. I don't care who you are, we all have those little vices, those things where they just zap our time. For me, it's cat videos. I love a good cat video. But look at them. And I'm not saying you have to take them out altogether. It's just if you constantly feel you have never have time for the things that are most important, you need to look at some of those mind-numbing nonsense tasks and cut down time and be conscious about that, be aware of that. So just to sort of finish off with some of those smaller things, is there anything, Helen, from you through the work that we've done together, through the coaching, all the different strategies and ideas and suggestions, is there anything now we're talking about those smaller things, any just kind of quick fire tips that you could share that have worked for you on your journey?
Yeah, so I think the PDS model is massive, which is something that you've coached us on for a long time, which is prioritize, delegate, schedule.
That's right.
Yes, good job I got that right, wasn't it? But that really is massive, because being able to just kind of really simplify things down. And like Matt's just said, when you're looking at things like your online scrolling and things like that, where you are losing time and you're wasting time, you can say like, that is not a priority. Yeah. You know, in the same way that it's like, I haven't got time to do this, this and this. What can I delegate? What can I give to somebody else to do and ask them to help me and support me? And obviously scheduling, we've gone over and over
again. The time wasted. How many people are wasting time like getting sucked into politics and arguing with strangers on the internet? You know, it's those things you need to call yourself out on and look at. If you're constantly saying, I never have any time. Well, you just spent 2 hours arguing with someone about Keir Starmer or whatever, you know? Like, how much are you getting dragged into stuff that really, realistically, they don't really make a difference to your life? Not really. This stuff does.
Yeah.
So it's that kind of stuff. And when, you know, as you're saying there, Helen, PDS model, when you prioritize, delegate, schedule, when you're conscious to what really matters, you just don't have time for any of that nonsense.
And you know, one that's massive for me as well, and I've done it for years now, and my husband thinks I'm proper weird for this, by the way, but if I'm at home through the day, I don't put the telly on.
Same.
If there's not something I specifically want to watch and it's on, you'll pass through and you'll get caught, and then you'll be like, oh, what's this about? I'll sit down and then I'll watch a bit of this, and then and it's so like, I haven't scheduled time for that. That isn't a priority, but it's something that's just stealing your attention. And I'm very careful with stuff like that now, of anything that will just steal my attention and think, nah. So I'll take away the friction. I won't even put the telly on. Therefore, it can't do it to me. And it's exactly the same sometimes with my phone. If I know that I want to focus on something, I put my phone in another room. And then the temptation's gone and it can't distract me. So there's all sorts of stuff, like I could go on forever with little tips, but I think definitely like what I've just touched upon with Tracy, in terms of like realizing that I can't pour from an empty cup, and realizing that I matter as well, and my goals and dreams matter, and my priorities matter. And yes, I have a ton of other responsibilities and, you know, other people with their agendas and needs that they need from me. But if I don't prioritize me and I don't make sure that I'm happy and healthy and fulfilled and make time to eat right and go to the gym and go towards my goals, which makes me happy, then how can I possibly serve them? And how can I show up as the best version of myself? And then they don't get the best version of me, so they lose out too. So I think it's just like perspective as well, isn't it? And realizing that. And obviously the more that you're able to do that, the more that then there isn't any resentment there or anything like that, because you feel fulfilled and you feel happy. And when you feel like that, you're the best version of you to give back to other people.
100%. It's something that comes up time and time again, not just in intimate relationships, but just general like friendships and family. People find it really tough when they're doing the self-development work and they're making progress and they're chasing goals. They find like, oh, I need everyone else to agree with me and support me. You don't. You need to keep doing, like, stay in your own lane, do the work. And if you're doing it correctly and you're genuinely feeling more fulfilled, then the people you love and the people that matter to you, you can just support them more without needing validation from them, without needing them to agree with absolutely everything when you're in a good place. And you'll also have places like we have with Success School where you have your communities that do get it and they are there cheering you on, going, it's bloody brilliant that you did, and sharing your Wednesday wins like we do and things like that. So you can still get that from somewhere. It doesn't need to be from everyone.
Yeah.
You don't need everyone to validate it, right?
Yeah, and I think that's where, like, when we always talk about confidence, completely going off, but we always talk about confidence and people say, how do I get confident? How do I be confident? This is how you get confidence, when you don't need that external validation, when you can validate yourself and realize that you deserve this stuff and you can stand firm in it and you can just prioritize you. Sometimes I think that is where true confidence comes from, because you're not needing that external validation of people backing you up and clapping you all the time. It's just like you're doing what's right for you, and you feel powerful when you do that.
100%. It's the best feeling in the world. So I need to know, and by the way, if you're a member of Success School, this question goes to you as well. Put a 1 in the chat. Are you now signed up for our completely free 4-day challenge that we're doing next month, September? Put a 1 in the chat and put a 2 in the chat if you're not signed up or don't have a clue what my 4-day challenge is. Because even if you're in Success School membership, unless you have signed up, you will not be getting all the details for the 4-day challenge, because there's an automation system that's going to send you out different challenges, different pieces of information on different days, and you need to be in that automation system. So whether you're in Success School or not, it doesn't guarantee. Put a 1 in the chat if you are signed up for the free 4-day challenge, so that I know everybody's signed up. Put a 2 in the chat if you don't even know what the challenge is, or you just haven't signed up yet, just to give us an idea. And I just want to remind people, this is something that I do once a year, sometimes twice a year. We're doing it even bigger, even better this time than was ever done before. I'm going to be joined by Ross Grant on one of the nights as well. This is completely free coaching. This is not a bit of coaching and then a massive sell of, you need to buy this from me, that, you need to take out a credit card and pay £10,000. I know a lot of people have been through those things and they're wise to it now. It's not what Success School's about. We'll mention Success School a couple of times, but to be clear, Success School is completely free to join anyway. For a few weeks, try before you buy, see if you like it, see if it's useful, see if you want to stay, and if and only if you do want to stay, it then becomes less than 20 quid a month. So basically you can sign up for 6 weeks. 6 weeks for less than 20 quid. And with that, you get coaching every week and all the rest of it. So that's it. That's all I've really got to sell to you. So the rest of it, this is just something I do completely for free, once a year, sometimes twice a year, 4 days of live coaching every night. It's 4 consecutive days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 7 p.m. We go live and I teach you the stuff that I teach in Success School completely free of charge, all online, all on Zoom. We always have hundreds of people joining us. This time, I'm going to try and get over 1,000 of you. I think we only announced it a couple of days ago, and we've now got over 70 people signed up already. It will not cost you a penny. This is something I love doing. It's something that, it brings more awareness to what I do as a coach. And some people at the end will go, I'd like to do some more work with you, Matt. And then they can join us and we can keep working with them, which is brilliant. But the amount of people that say the 4 days alone was a game changer. Like, bearing in mind, this is the 5th year I've done this. We've had people, like, in really extreme circumstances, people that have lost loved ones and things like that, and have been felt that they've been stuck in a rut, in a dark place, in some cases for years. And in those 4 days, some of the challenges we've done in the past have been 3 days. In 3 days, they said they feel more clear, more alive, more aligned, more focused, more motivated than they felt in years, right? And it doesn't cost you a penny. So I just want to say, if there's quite a few 1s, there's also a few 2s. I can see Patricia on Instagram says 2. Helen Short says 2. Amy says 2. Don't know anything about it. If you drop me a DM, I know Helen's put the link there. Thank you for that. I'll see if I put it there. See if that shows up somewhere. I don't know if that's.
Oh, yeah, it's just come up there.
Woohoo! We're learning as we go.
YouTube comments.
Yeah, I'm trying to stick it on YouTube. There's the link if people want to join us on. I don't know where else I could put it, but if you can't see the link, if you can't get the link, just drop me a private message and I'll send you it. Like I said, there's no hard sales pitch. This is one of the most rewarding things I do every single year, because we just get hundreds of people on Zoom learning about themselves, going inwards and figuring out, what do I truly want? Where am I going wrong? Where do I need to break patterns? Where do I need to change habits? Where do I need to make, changes in my routine? And the breakthroughs. And also, I'm a bit daft. We have a bit of fun. I'll occasionally play some music and do a bit of a Zoom dance routine for you all, just to keep you entertained and energized. But it's good fun, but it's also, I see it time and time again. And Helen, I think you've probably done them all. It can be completely life-changing for people, right?
I love it. I love participating in it myself.
Oh, no. Sorry, that was my bad. I just muted something. Sorry, I can hear you.
Yeah, I love participating in it myself, because I feel like it always gives me a kick up the backside as well. Even though I'm on this journey, it's just like, a more intensive week of really going for it. But also, I just love seeing everybody else getting involved and getting fired up and what they're achieving, and the realizations that people have and the light bulb moments and stuff. It's like proper high vibes, isn't it? We love it.
I'm going to just put it's literally 60 seconds long. That's all. I'm just going to play you a really quick trailer that we've put together to give you an idea. So this is 60 seconds. Drop me a message right now if you want me to send you the link to make sure that you do get it. Sign up. All it'll do is ask for your name and email address. And then once we've got that, it goes into a system where you'll get automated emails on the right days at the right times. And then you don't miss anything, including the Zoom link. I can see Piona on YouTube saying, when is it? The dates. Yeah, so it's Monday, the 23rd of September. So it's next month, Monday, the 23rd of September, 4 consecutive days / nights, all online. You don't need to leave your house or anything. The live calls are 7 p.m. So we do them in the evening when people are home. It's just 4 days, once a year. And it's 4 days genuinely to learn, to reflect, to get, as I say, a kick up your ass, to start getting the motivation, the momentum back, and then start, putting into place some really good positive habits and routines. So that is Monday, the 23rd of September through to Thursday, the 26th of September. Put those dates in your diary now, 7 p.m. each evening, 4 nights. And each morning you'll be emailed with some little challenges each day for you to complete. Here's previous me giving you a little bit more, and then we'll go back to future present me, I think. Something like that. If you've had the best summer totally out of your routine, lacking all motivation, and like you've got this massive mountain to climb just to start feeling productive again, then the 4-day Life Enhancer Challenge is here to help.
I joined Matt's challenge back in September of this year. I've actually lost half a stone in weight. I'm out of this dark hole that I was in. I'm actually living. I've got goals.
You really do come away with having unshakable confidence. It's a great way to really become more disciplined, to feel motivated, and I highly recommend anyone to try it.
Over 4 consecutive days, you will receive totally free high-performance mindset coaching, complete with the accountability that is designed to give you that boost and a kick up the ass so that you can start thriving again in your life, career, and your relationships. And for the first time ever, I'm going to be joined by some guest experts who are also here to help. We'll be focusing on taking back control, gaining clarity on your goals, setting positive habits, and totally overcoming that overwhelm. If you want to finish your year strong and achieve the stuff that you say you want, then click that link to sign up. It's a completely free online group coaching program. Sign up, I'll send you the details to join, and then I'll see you on the 23rd of September. There you go. Back to the present me. So just make sure, if you haven't already, we have put the link out a few places, but if you can't see it for whatever reason, just drop me a DM and I will send you the link. Get signed up. You'll get the link to the private Facebook group, and then in due course, you'll be sent further videos and information. Like I say, completely free. It's something I do just to help people, that want to get involved, that want to start making some positive changes in their life. And it's just great. It's just such a good vibe. I mean, just seeing so many people on Zoom, and it's like a bit silly. There's also prizes, for free coaching and things that would usually cost hundreds of pounds and things like that. And if as a bit of an incentive to stay the course to the final night. People that, you know, pass certain tasks will be put their names into a hat, and then we get a few different prize winners. And then afterwards, we usually end up just signing off by singing to Queen, We Are the Champions. And I just get everyone to unmute, and everyone's singing out of time. Most people are out of tune. It's just a madness, but we have fun with it as well. And I believe, you know, life's too short to not have fun. There's a lot of personal development, self-development. It's all like, you know, you should be in the trenches and work on yourself 7 days a week. And, you know, as you know, when we do our live in-person events, of which the next one is in Leeds in February, I'll always encourage anyone that wants to come out afterwards, have some food, have a drink, have a dance, have a bit of fun. It is about having that balance. I'm not one of those coaches, even though sometimes we do have to have that kick up the ass and have a talking to. Generally, I'm here to have fun. Life is too short as well. So do join us. Make sure you get signed up, and we'll be doing that on the 23rd of September. This is our last live of the week, folks. So thank you, everyone that has been joining us. We were going to do one tomorrow, but we're just too busy, Helen, aren't we? We've too much important stuff changing the world that we've got to do, right?
Yeah, way too busy. And just to point out to people as well, I've had a couple of people comment and say to me like, oh, well, I might not be able to make one of the calls, so they've not signed up for the challenge. Please don't do that. If you can't make one of the calls, it's fine. It might mean that you can't win one of the prizes, but you know, if you think overall you're going to be able to make the majority of it and you are going to be able to participate, please don't think that like just the fact that you're going to have to miss one of them, because very often I think you do replays on them as well, don't you, Matt?
All of them are. Like, let me just put this in perspective. It's completely free coaching to help you. Even if you make one of the nights, it won't cost you a penny. Like, to learn the stuff I teach has taken over a decade, but cost me almost £100,000 of training, of learning, of one-to-one mentoring, of courses. Like, you're getting it for free. So just one night, if you can make it, of free coaching based on my year's experience and investment, surely that's worth it. But what you were saying there about you might not win the prizes, you get 3 quote-unquote strikes anyway, and you will still be your name in the hat. So there's different things that are considered a strike. One of them would be if you don't make one of the calls live, that's one. But there's 3 strikes you can have and still be considered in the running for the prize on the final night. So do absolutely, Helen, thank you for saying that. Do not let that put you off. If there will be a replay, make as much of it as you can live. And even if you have to miss one of the nights live and what have you, that doesn't mean you're not in the running for the free prizes as well. Anything else over there just before we finish? I can see Leonie, thanks a million. Catch up with you soon. Don't know why I don't get all your reminders about your lives. Good to catch you today. Thank you for that. And yeah, it'd be great to see you again. Thanks for being here. Drop me a DM if you're interested in booking that session and having a chat, and we can get you booked in. Sorry, Helen.
No, I was going to read that comment and just say as well, I think now from going forward, the lives are going to be Wednesdays, aren't they? These ones that we do at, did we say 5?
Yeah. So I'm going to be doing my Monday motivation solo round Mondays at 7 from September. I'm going to do that, not for the rest of my life, but we're going to do that for about 4 weeks, where I'll be going live every Monday, 7 p.m. And then Wednesdays at 5 p.m, Helen and I will be here together like we have been. So yeah, if you want to come and join us and make it a bit of a regular thing, we're saying it's Wednesday wisdom, aren't we? Wednesday wisdom and Monday motivation. There you go. So that's how you will remember which nights, what days we're live, right? So yeah, do join us. Thanks. Helen Short says, well done, guys. And I can see Caroline Neal says, got to go as my dinner is ready. Ooh, lovely. What are you having, Caroline? I hope you enjoy it. But she says, great live. Amazing. Thank you, everyone, for being here. And yeah, do make sure you drop us a message if you want to know about anything else. Do make sure you sign up to the 4-day challenge. Again, DM us if you need the link, send it over. But whatever you've been doing, I hope you have a lovely end of the week. I hope you do join us on the challenge. But thank you so much for engaging, and I hope this video has been useful. As I always say, if you're watching on Facebook, please do us a favor and share this on your Facebook. If you could just hit that share button, if you could go on further, put a little caption saying why you think people need to check it out, that would massively help us. Our mission is to help as many people as possible live happier, healthier, and more fulfilling lives. It's quite a mission. It's really tough trying to get through to as many people as possible. So in doing that little act of sharing this video on your Facebook, putting a little caption, then you are helping us help other people start to help themselves. And between us, we're a ripple effect of positivity in a world that I think desperately bloody needs it. So thank you in advance if anyone does help share this video so people can watch it on the replay. And thank you those that have engaged and that have been here. I hope you found it useful. Anything from you, Helen, before we finish?
No, just thank you everybody for being here yet again and for all your contributions. There's been some really good conversation today, which, you know, I absolutely love. So thank you everyone, and we will see you very soon.
Yeah, and if you haven't already, make sure you go check out yesterday's brand new podcast episode. It is with Johnny Seifert, he's a journalist, he's a showbiz editor. I know, Caroline, I saw your comment on the episode saying she was pleasantly surprised. She wasn't sure. I don't think she had held journalists in the showbiz world in high regard, shall we say, but she found it an inspiring, interesting episode. So if that sounds like something you'd be intrigued to hear more, that episode is available right now on YouTube. It is on Spotify and it's on Apple. If you just type in Matt Hall Success School, then the right one will definitely come up on any of those platforms. Check it out. Do leave us a comment if you've listened or watched it. I'm just going to leave you now with the trailer for that episode that is available. Go over after this video, give it a watch, give it a listen. Let us know what your feedback. And like I said, this is our last live of the week. So have a lovely weekend, everybody. And we'll see you next time. Shall we bring the wave back?
Yes, we love the wave. Bye.
Wave then. Bye, everybody. Enjoy.
Being a journalist, horrible. People who go on Love Island, I speak to Love Island most, and they all just want validation. They crave being loved. They crave being noticed. They crave getting their social media following. If you're on Married at First Sight, why is it you go on a show like that and yet you're in that relationship now? You surely should be going on it because you can't get a relationship. Sure. I know so much about celebrities, about all the scandals that you do not know about most celebrities, right? I get to go to amazing places, I have amazing experiences, I go to the best restaurants. However, there's 200 of you all trying to do the same thing. Who can shout the loudest? Who can be at the front of the queue going, I want to talk about that story, I've got the exclusive on it. Couldn't really do well in showbiz, couldn't get a mortgage. I was like, what's going on? Like, where's my sense of belonging? What am I? Who am I?
Has there ever been times where you've really struggled mentally?
I struggle. I don't cry.